Welcome to Fun Python Projects. In this video, we're looking at how to create a simple calculator. So we go straight to that. And how this calculator works is simply this. So the program displays a menu of operations for user to choose from. For the user to choose from, the user selects an option from the menu. Then for most operations, the program will ask for two numbers, like maybe you're adding two numbers or subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Then you can also take power and logarithm. Then there are some single input operations like square root. It only asks for one number in that case. For logarithm, the base can be entered. If you don't enter the base, then you can leave it blank to use the natural base E. So if you don't specify the base, it means you're using base E. So the calculator performs the selected operation using the appropriate function that you select, right? And then the result or an error message, e.g. division by zero error, is printed for the user. So the menu is shown again, and the user can perform another calculation or choose exit to quit. All right. So let's look at the code for this. So we have a bunch of Python functions declared for each operation. So, and the only library we're using is the inbuilt math library in Python. So import math, and that's all we need. Then for the core operations now, we are adding. So you define the function add, which takes values x and y and returns x plus y. Then you define subtract, it takes x and y and returns x minus y. Define multiply, it takes x and y and returns x times y. Then you have a function divide, which takes x and y. And if y is equal to zero, all right, if y is zero, because division by zero is undefined, right? So it will return error, division by zero. And then otherwise it will return x divided by y if y is not zero. The next thing is you can define for power now you define a function called power, which takes x and y and returns x raised to power y. Okay, so the first number is the base and the second number is the power. So if you have 2 raised to power 7, so x is 2, y is 7. Then define square roots. In this case, of course, because the square root of a negative number is undefined, so you have to put this exception if x is less than 0. So return error cannot calculate the square root of negative number. Otherwise, to return the square root of the number. Of course, the square root in this case, you're getting it from the math library. Okay. Then if you want to take the logarithm of a number to a particular base, so you define the function log underscore base, which takes just one number now, x. And then the default base, if you're used to the idea of Python functions, so in this case now we have a default argument. So base is math.e. So if you don't specify the base, it will take base e. But if you specify the base, you can then use that. So, but in this case now, if x is less than or equal to 0, that is x is negative or it's 0, you cannot take the log of 0, it will be undefined, or log of negative number. Or if the base is less than or equal to 0, or base is equal to 1. So it will return an error and it's an invalid input for logarithm. Okay. Otherwise, it return math log of the base of that value x to whatever base you specify. And if you don't specify any base, it will take the default base e. Then we have some helpers. So you have the read float. So this will read the float with validation. So while true, S input is prompt, try, then you return the float. So here now, invalid inputs, please enter a valid number. So if you enter an invalid number, then read optional float. So read the float, allow blank to accept default. All right. So in this case now, if you don't put anything, it can tell you, please enter a number, provide a default, right? Then try. So then you have return float, invalid inputs, please enter a valid number. So if you enter a number that is not valid, then you now define a print menu now. So this one is just for printing. So to print simple calculator, select operation. So the operations are numbered from 1 to 8. Add, subtract, multiply, divide, power, square root, logarithm. And 8 is exit. So if you don't want to do any operation again, just type 8 and then the whole operation ends. Then you have map so mapping choice to label function and arity. So you have the operations now. Addition will add to subtraction. We'll take that subtract we defined up there and it takes two numbers. Multiplication takes the multiply function we defined up there before and takes two numbers, and all these other ones, apart from square root that takes only one, and the logarithm, we have log base now, and it takes two numbers. So second argument is the base, and default is allowed in this case. 8 is exit, so the function is none, and the arity is zero. That is the number of uh, arguments you need is zero in that case. Then you can now define main, while true, print many choice, input. So this one will ask you to pick your choice from 1 to 8. Where 1 is add and 8 is exit, and others in between. And then it will strip whatever you type in, it will strip off the spaces before and after to avoid that issue, any issue you might have. Maybe if you leave a space mistakenly, that would be an issue. So if choice is not in operations, so if you choose maybe a choice 0 or choice 9 or anything apart from 1 to 8, it's going to tell you invalid choice. Please select 1 to 8, and then it will continue. So you have the label and all of these things. So if you choose 8, it will just say exiting goodbye because you have ended the process. So gather input by arity. So if arity is 2, if choice is 5, that's the power. So base read floats, and you have all of this whole thing. So for the power now, you have base raised power exponent, and that will give you the result. Elif choice 7. So Elif choice 7, it will do logarithm. Else, if it is add, subtract, multiply, to just take those two and do the necessary operation. So to also handle possible error, strategic division by zero, and all of that like we saw before. So else if arity is 1, then you have square root. So if you type in only one number, then it knows that you're dealing with square root. So that's the process there. So let's just try out our calculator. So I'll just run the code and see what we get and try all the possibilities. Yeah, so this is the thing now. So it says select operation. Let's start with add. So first thing, enter choice 1 to it. So I put choice 1, enter. Okay. Now it's telling me to enter the first number. I can just enter 23. Enter the next number. I can enter 45.787, and then it gives me the addition of that 68.87. Okay, let me go for subtraction. So I pick 2. Okay, it tells me enter the first number. I just pick 12. And then this 90.23, and then it just does 12 minus 90.23, and that's minus 78.23. Okay, so I go for multiplying on 3. So let's say 12.34. And then the second number is uh 23.76. And I press enter. So it gives me 293.1984. Like that. That's for multiplication. For division, I go this. So okay, I've chosen so first number for division, let me just say 56. And the second number I pick 789, and then it gives me that thing for division. All right, so I go for division again. That's 4, and then now I have the first number is 12. The second number is 0. So it tells me, oh, error, division by 0. So because you can't divide by 0, right? Then I go for the next one. I go for power, and that's 5. So it tells me enter the base. Maybe I want to do 5 raised to power 5. So I type 5 for the base, and then I type the exponent as 5. So 5 raised to power 5 is 3125.0, as we have it here. So I go for power again. So I have 5 for power. Say now I want 34. Okay, that's the base. The exponent, I want it to be 7. I know that's a lot. Okay, it gives me this nice answer. 37 raised power 7. It's this plenty number we have here. So we go for square root now. So I type 6. If I want to intentionally leave some space, okay, 6, and leave some space after. So because of the strip we have up there already, it is going to strip off all the extra space and still give me the power, right? So it still works. I mean, it now goes for square root. So for square root, it tells me to enter the number whose square root I want to find. Let's say I want to find the square root of 67. So it just gives me 8.18. So in that case, all you need is one number. Maybe I need another square root. So I go for 6 again, and I want the square root of 12.54. Okay. That gives me 3.5411 and all that as the square root. So I go for logarithm, which is 7. So it says enter any number that is greater than 0. Okay. So let me enter 1.234567889. Okay. And it tells me leave blank for. So do I want the log of all of that to base E? Okay, let me leave it blank. And then it automatically picks base E. So it just picks 1.234, blah, 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 to base 2.718. And the answer is 0.210. Okay, I want to do that again. I go for 7 once again, logarithm. So I enter 43.98. Okay. And then the base, let me say I want that in base 12. Okay. In base 12, we have this 1.1.52. So this is particularly powerful because you can do anything in base anything. Let me just do logarithm again. I say 7. All right. And I want say 5 in base 2. Log 5 base 2. Okay, this one that's nice thing. By the way, log 5 base 2, I think that should be log 5 over log 2 also, right? So log 5 base 10 to log 2 base 10. So that's something. So that's about logarithm. Let me do one more logarithm 7. Then I have, say, of course, you already know, like log any number to the same base is 1. So I say log 7 base 7. The answer is 1. Okay, as you can see up here. Okay, so with that now, we have all the operations done. So I can just exit. So to exit, I just type 8. So type 8 and it's all done. And that takes us to the end of this interesting video. Now that I've exited, it just says exiting and then goodbye. Okay. So that's the deal here. Talking about a very simple calculator using Python, right? Using Python. So let me know how helpful this is for you. And if there's something you'd like me to try out, if there's a project idea you have that you'd like me to try out, it's a very simple project. Let me know about it. I might just be able to pull that off. If you have subscribed already, thank you. If you have not, of course, you want to go ahead and subscribe right away and hit the notification bell so you can always get alerted each time a new video is released. Having done that, of course, you want to take it a step further and become a member of the channel by clicking on join. And you see 3 levels of membership with special privileges. Then afterwards, of course, you want to uh, comment, like, and share so that more people can have access to the great content I have going on here. Till I come your way again, keep doing Python right. Bye.